Hi, welcome. I am Jill Segerman with AMS, and today I am talking with Geoffrey Bishop, who's Executive Director and founder of Nature's Classroom Institute and Montessori School. Geoffrey, welcome.
Great, it's good to be here. Hi, everyone.
Today we're talking about nature. So let's start with Geoffrey. Tell me, what is it about being in nature that brings you joy, you personally?
So I grew up in Australia in the outbush, in the outback, and as a little tiny child, 2 years old, I was the youngest of seven, and I think my parents had had enough of kids by the time I came along. So I was literally kicked outside till the next mealtime. So I spent most of my formidable years, those years between 1 and 6 years old, out navigating our natural environment. And it really became kind of a part of who I am. Nature is such a strong influence in my life and such an important part of my life, both the natural world and also when you talk about the human involvement, which is agriculture as well. That's all part of the natural world. So agricultural animals, as well as just being out in the woods. Every day of my life, I am outside in the woods. I live on 140 acres, so I get to be outside a lot where I am, and it's my resetter in life.
So I know that nature is important to you. Why do you think nature is important for all of us, adults, children, teachers, parents? What is it about nature that's important for all of us to think about?
So nature is really a natural calmer. So I can guarantee that if anybody watching this video walked outside and literally hugged a tree, you would feel this incredible reversal of calmness coming back. I know it sounds a little hokey, but try it. I think you'll find that it's kind of amazing because the tree will hug you back. The research says that a very short amount of time in nature resets the brain. It gives the brain kind of a time to kind of relax, to breathe, to kind of take some time. And just walking in the grass barefoot is another way. It's that sensory connection to something that is real. And even if you can spend 10, 15 minutes out in the garden or going for a walk around the block where you can maybe see some street trees or some things growing up in the garden, any connection to nature that you can give yourself every day is going to give you a huge amount back. It's going to reset your brain. It's going to give you a calming feeling, and it's going to make you happy. And that's not just for me who loves nature. I think you'll find that that would absolutely happen for you as well.
So I know that you live on a farm, and so you are surrounded by nature all the time, but not everybody has that. Not everybody is living right in the middle of that kind of nature. Sometimes people are living in, New York City in a tall building. And so, there are people who may be living in places where it's not okay to just go outside whenever you want because it's not safe or it's not there. So how do people connect with nature just depending on where they live and what is accessible to them?
So there's a couple of things in that. The first is you will find nature everywhere and anywhere, all the way down to the dandelion growing in the cracks or the vacant lot next door or the street trees. There are incredible birds living in New York City. If it is very difficult for you to go outside, you need to bring nature inside, whether that would be a pet, either a cat or a dog, or maybe you have a bird, or maybe you just grow plants. As you can see, I have a bunch of plants inside my house that I grow. They are, every time I come downstairs and I look at my indoor plants, they kind of give me a little bit of a feeling of that relaxation again. So even if you can't connect outside, you should bring some of that inside. Even a bunch of flowers from the grocery store that you may be able to pick up to have that on your dining room table or next to your computer at work to kind of give you that feeling. But if you can get outside, a simple walk around the block, you have to open your eyes and look around, look around to be able to find the natural things. There are birds, there are plants, there are trees, there are all kinds of different things. We tend to think about nature as this amazing landscape with all this amazing trees and hills. But the reality is nature can also just be that simple dandelion growing in the crack in the pathway, or the grass on the verge of the pathway that you're walking on. You just have to kind of connect to it. It's all nature, no matter where it is.
I heard you talk about, for you, being outside every day, and it made me think about this idea of routine or habit.
Mm-hmm.
So my guess is that you probably have a pretty regular habit of connecting with nature, but for someone who is just beginning to think, okay, this is important, I want to make it happen for me, what suggestions do you have to begin with to build bringing nature into your life?
So it's like anything. You get up in the morning and you make coffee. That's kind of a habit that you have created in your life. You have to start to think, when is a good time in my day that I would really like to get that little bit of nature vitamin back into my body? And maybe it's the first thing in the morning you get up and you put on your track shoes and your pants and you go for a walk around the block. Then you come back and get into your regular routine. Or maybe it's in the evening when you finish work, you've come back. We tend to have to kind of force ourselves. Sometimes it's easier to slump on the couch and just kind of watch some TV. But the reality is that's not giving you really what you need in natural vitamins. You have to get out and breathe the fresh air. And I know in the wintertime, sometimes it's a little bit of a struggle because it's cold outside. And I'm from Australia, and winter and I don't really get along. But I force myself to go out and walk in the snow. I force myself only for a short period of time, but all that snow is also nature. And I know sometimes maybe in New York or in cities like that, the snow becomes kind of dark and ugly. You kind of got to look through that and kind of embrace maybe the cold, because the cold is part of nature as well. So building it into your routine is going to be something that you have to kind of be deliberate about. And you have to set yourself a time and a goal. It's like going to the gym. It's kind of good exercise too.
So I'm thinking about, now I'm thinking about parents and teachers trying to get children outside. And I imagine that there are many children, when you say, hey, let's go outside and do whatever, they're on board and they want to go. But I also know there's going to be that child who says, I don't want to. I want to sit in front of the TV, or I want to sit in front of my computer, or I want to finish reading my book. So how do you help? What advice do you have for teachers and parents who have children in their worlds who are saying, I don't want to go outside?
So one of the very first thing you need to think about is the child in control of what's going to happen when they go outside? If you're just taking your kids and you're taking them for a walk around the block, they're following you. They have no input into what they're doing. You need to kind of say, hey, maybe we could go for a walk. How would you like to be able to lead the walk today? Why don't we go somewhere you want to go? Well, what would you like to go and explore outside? And remember, time is really, really important. You have to be able to say, you know, I'm going to let myself go. I'm going to let my child be the leader in this. And I have to forget that the time is not on the watch. The time is about when my child is done. And I'm going to have to give them the time to be able to do the things that they want to do. And maybe they're not going to go in the direction you want to go. You have to kind of let that go. Because if you want your kids to get out in nature and enjoy the natural environment, they have to be in control of it. They have to be the discoverers. They have to make the choices. If we just drag them out, they're going to not like it, and they're going to be resistant all the way through. They need to be the one that's really leading this. That's a paradigm shift for us adults sometimes, and that's one of your biggest challenges. But if you successfully navigate through that challenge, I guarantee your kids will be wanting to take you out an awful lot. And then the hope is that they can go out by themselves to the backyard and enjoy being out there without you. which is also another advantage as well, rather than being on screen time.
Geoffrey, thanks for joining me today and sharing this great advice. I really appreciate you being here.
It was great. Enjoy being out in the natural world. It is the best medicine, the best medicine. Thank you.
And I guess I need to say goodbye and go outside.
Exactly. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.